Former President Donald Trump took an unplanned detour to address the media outside the courthouse for his closing remarks in his $250 million fraud case. According to Raw Story, this resulted in a dramatic scene in a Manhattan courtroom. Trump interrupted the proceedings, which violated courtroom protocol. Former President Donald Trump took an unplanned detour to address the media outside the courthouse for his closing remarks in his $250 million fraud case. According to Raw Story, this resulted in a dramatic scene in a Manhattan courtroom. Trump interrupted the proceedings, which violated courtroom protocol. In order to bring a similar appeal directly to Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron, in this video, I will explain everything. Before I begin, please subscribe and turn on notifications to receive daily breaking news from us. Thank you. This caused the tension to build. CNN's Caitlin Collins reported on the disruption in court. She claimed that Donald Trump began shouting from the defense table, referring to the civil probe as a political witch hunt. In this video, I will explain everything. Before I begin, please subscribe and turn on notifications to receive daily breaking news from us. Thank you. This caused the tension to build. CNN's Caitlin Collins reported on the disruption in court. She claimed that Donald Trump began shouting from the defense table, referring to the civil probe as a political witch hunt. He contended that he should not only be acquitted of any crime but also compensated for his acts. In a strong condemnation of the ongoing trial as a political witch hunt, Trump called for holding New York's Attorney General, Letitia James, accountable for damages. The situation in the courtroom reached new heights when Trump, visibly enraged, said, "This is a disgrace, and they should pay me damages. This is an extremely humiliating situation." Judge Engoron, presented with Trump's unexpected outburst in court, gave him a brief time to continue before interrupting him and informing him that he only had 1 minute remaining. Trump suggested holding New York's Attorney General, Letitia James, accountable for damages. The situation in the courtroom reached new heights when Trump, visibly enraged, said, "This is a disgrace, and they should pay me damages. This is an extremely humiliating situation." Judge Engoron, presented with Trump's unexpected outburst in court, gave him a brief time to continue before interrupting him and informing him that he only had 1 minute remaining. During a tense moment, the judge asked Trump's counsel to please restrain his client. Trump's unannounced statements, which threatened to deviate from the intended agenda, startled the crowd. This intervention highlighted the significance of maintaining order and decorum in the courtroom. The courtroom had an exciting atmosphere. Trump's unannounced statements took the crowd aback, as they threatened to deviate from the intended agenda. This intervention highlighted the significance of maintaining order and decorum in the courtroom. The courtroom had an exciting atmosphere. As a result of the former president's accusations that the investigation was politically motivated and lacked any reasonable basis in reality, Trump's controversial words not only called the judicial proceedings into question, but they also gave the impression that he was dissatisfied with the legal system, as requested by the judge. As a result of the former president's accusations that the investigation was politically motivated and lacked any reasonable basis in reality, Trump's controversial words not only called the judicial proceedings into question, but they also gave the impression that he was dissatisfied with the legal system, as requested by the judge. To maintain control of your client, you highlighted Trump's unusual courtroom behavior. This served to notify the legal staff that such interruptions were not permissible on any occasion. The tension peaked when Trump expressed concern about whether he would receive a fair verdict and acknowledged the potential consequences of his conduct. This concession fueled the narrative of a protracted judicial conflict rife with theatrics, casting doubt on the overall impact of Trump's courtroom bluster. During the trial, a clash between legal proceedings and political theatrics became apparent, particularly when the courtroom erupted with unexpected events. The judge's intervention worked as follows: a clear instruction to control the chaotic dynamics of the courtroom and ensure that the trial's integrity was maintained until the end of the proceedings. To paint a dramatic picture of a courtroom drama in which legal arguments coexist with political posturing, the episode became symbolic of the larger story surrounding Trump's legal difficulties. It described a trial that was unlike any prior one. All 3 federal appeal court justices, 2 selected by President Biden and 1 by the late President George H.W. Bush, convened to evaluate the merits of former President Donald Trump's potential immunity from prosecution in post-presidential challenges. Judge Karen Henderson presided over the proceedings, which focused on addressing and preventing an impending surge of cases. The main emphasis of the proceedings, which were presided over by Judge Karen Henderson, was how to deal with and stop an oncoming flood of cases directed against former presidents. Judge Henderson's query was geared toward eliciting information from special counsel Jack Smith's team. Prosecutor James Pierce argued that the Watergate scandal is the reason society has come to accept that presidents are not above the law, according to the conservative brief on Wednesday, January 10, 2024, despite the fact that former President Nixon resigned without charges. Pierce observed the historical context. Pierce stressed Trump's unusual predicament, saying no president had ever claimed immunity. Pierce was aware of the January Trump administration indictments. Legal disputes in the historical context of the Watergate scandal often revolve around whether a former president can be shielded from prosecution. A tipping point in American politics? Showed how society holds leaders accountable. Pierce said that no president before Trump had claimed post-term immunity. Pierce tried to distinguish these assertions from post-presidential issues, but he accepted the January indictments. Both parties disputed this distinction during Trump's presidency. Sarah emphasized the need to differentiate ongoing court cases from the impeachment trial. This court case affects Donald Trump and the president. It establishes past presidents' legal status. The judges will balance holding former presidents accountable and preventing case overload. Peers will weigh Sauer's arguments against historical viewpoints. The nation is carefully following court proceedings. Per this case's rulings, it could greatly impact post-presidential legal duty. Finally, the courts will decide if Donald Trump is exempt from post-presidential penalties or if the legal system will hold former presidents accountable. Because Judge Arthur Engoron had revoked his speaking privileges, the former president voiced disdain and called his civil fraud trial in New York unconstitutional before the closing arguments on Thursday. Trump said he filed the case with the White House and Joe Biden because he could not win a fair campaign. No jury, high-level electoral interference. Trump added, "I really have no rights," which is sad, and claimed the court's antipathy to some issues prevented him from summarizing. He also defended his financial records and reiterated his long-standing criticism about the lack of a jury, which Engoron indicated early in the trial that no one had asked. Trump also attacked New York Attorney General Letitia James, who sued him for fabricating assets to get better loan conditions. CNN's John Berman and top legal expert Paula Reed quickly fact-checked the former president's courtroom arguments, calling them a political speech with legal errors. Mediatic reports that Trump will face another lawsuit for deceiving people into purchasing counterfeit drugs. According to a new study, people who took an anti-malarial medicine that Donald Trump touted as a coronavirus cure in the early phases of the pandemic and during his administration's waiting period were 3% more likely to die. The peer-reviewed biomedicine and pharmacotherapy researchers anticipate 177,000 patients. The coronavirus killed people in 6 nations, including the U.S. Specialists recommended hydroxychloroquine to treat coronavirus at the action limits indicated to stop its spread off-label and without proof of efficacy. The authors of the current study noted that pharmaceutical recycling with little data for pandemic management is risky. The authors of the present study published their meta-analysis of randomized trials in biomedicine and pharmacotherapy, a 67-year-old journal managed by D.M. Townsend of the Medical University of South Carolina. This study used public databases to count the number of coronavirus patients hospitalized at the onset of the pandemic. A systematic review followed. Studies found that hydroxychloroquine increases mortality by 11% and causes 16,990 hospital deaths in the US, Belgium, France, Italy, Spain, and Turkey. The FDA warned about hydroxychloroquine, which did not approve the first coronavirus vaccine until December 2020. May cause irregular pulses and cardiovascular issues. Additionally, the regulators only approved the drug for malaria, lupus, and rheumatoid arthritis. The then-president called an early study that found hydroxychloroquine ineffective for coronavirus an anti-Trump statement. They gave it to dying people. Trump admitted to taking the medicine prophylactically, as did the White House. Trump was hospitalized for the coronavirus on September 26, 2020. After receiving an antibody cocktail that was not available to the public, he recovered. Weeks later, Joe Biden defeated Trump for a second term. He faces 91 criminal charges for trying to sabotage his lost appointment, maintaining government secrets, and concealing payments to an actress who claims to have had sexual intercourse with him. Trump leads the 2024 Republican presidential nomination race, and polls suggest a difficult rematch with Biden. Before the CDC stopped tracking in May, more than 1.1 million Americans had died from coronavirus, with about 105 million cases reported. Sir. Former federal prosecutor and CNN legal analyst Elliot Williams said on Tuesday that former President Donald Trump's lawyer failed to persuade the D.C. Circuit appellate judges that he is immune from prosecution in the federal election conspiracy case. According to Williams, attorney John Sauer weakened his case by suggesting to the judges that Trump could order the death of a political adversary, arguing that this would only be considered a crime if the president was impeached. Anchor Pamela Brown argued that the president is immune from government obligations, including assassinating a political opponent, until Congress impeaches him. Do these situations have legal distinctions? Absolutely not. Williams said, "I've been practicing law for some time. You realized you'd lost to these judges. I don't think Trump's staff can retrieve them." Williams convincingly argues that the president's conduct during the next few years and his forced self-pardon demonstrate his accountability. If so, they need another pardon. If there is a spirit of behavior, he said it is foolish to believe that he is immune. Because, stay tuned. This story is heating up, and we'll keep you updated on every twist. Share your thoughts in the comments, and like and subscribe for updates. Trump's doctor tests his body odor unexpectedly and denies diaper use. Dr. Sebastian Summers, President Trump's personal physician, gave him a body odor test, which made headlines. The surprise investigation sought to resolve long-held allegations that Trump wore a diaper owing to odor. Let's discuss this strange exam and its outcomes. Dr. Summers observed a strange stink from President Trump during their monthly medical checks, according to White House officials. The doctor investigated Trump's diaper-wearing habits after repeated complaints. The doctor created a body odor test and expected the president to cooperate. The body odor test proved Trump doesn't wear a diaper, disproving social media rumors. Famous dermatologist Summers remarked that strong scents during his investigation were more likely due to physiological fluids than diaper use. He stressed the importance of accurate knowledge over rumors. The body odor test exonerated Trump of diaper-wearing accusations but revealed a problem with his odor. Dr. Summers found that the president's sweat glands are overactive, causing excessive sweating. This can cause an odor. Dr. Summers said he is working with President Trump to find the best disease control methods. Diet, hygiene, and pharmaceutical antiperspirants may help. Careful treatment by medical professionals can cure this frequent condition. From stories concerning Trump's diaper use, the diaper guy meme propagated on social media. The body odor test debunked these assertions, but internet communities still call the president a diaper man. Internet users have modified photographs to generate memes. President Trump's doctor's shocking body odor test disproved diaper-wearing rumors with amusing exchanges that caused global laughter and discussion. During the inspection, doctors discovered that the president's hyperactive sweat glands were generating body odor. Dr. Summers is aggressively seeking solutions. Again, separating fact from fiction is crucial, especially on social media, where misinformation travels swiftly. Former President Donald Trump addressed Democratic lawmakers' charges that his businesses received more than $7.8 million in foreign payments in a Fox News town hall. Trump downplayed the amount as minor, saying it was payment for club and hotel services. He dismissed the payments as a tiny change in the big picture. Trump said the money was for hotel stays and that he was providing services. He rationalized the deals by praising his hotel's luxury and facilities. Trump's businesses received money from at least 20 countries during his presidency, according to House Oversight Committee investigations. The Chinese, Saudi, DRC, Malaysia, Albania, and Kosovo governments made these lavish donations. Since Trump did not seek congressional approval to take these foreign donations, critics say they violate the Constitution. The report's authors say this constitutional violation poses major legal issues. The analysis found that President Trump never sought or got congressional approval to keep this foreign cash as required by the Constitution, casting doubt on his business dealings with foreign businesses. Trump faces 4 prosecutions and 91 criminal counts, complicating his legal condition. Among his claims are falsifying company records and electoral interference. Trump leads the 2016 Republican presidential nomination despite legal issues. Trump and President Joe Biden are running close in recent surveys, proving that his legal issues haven't hurt him politically. Trump's representatives haven't responded to Business Insider's questions, allowing the public to speculate on the former president's financial ties to foreign nations. The public continues to dispute Trump's business and political legacy.